Hello my friends, my name is Tim Johnson. In this video I want to share with you what I believe are the 5 keys, the 5 essentials for lasting sobriety. But more importantly, within that sobriety, finding that elusive inner peace that we're all looking for, if you like. Not wanting to change the way you feel about yourself constantly. I mean, as long as I can remember, many years, I always wanted to change the way I felt. Even when I had everything, and believe me, I did have everything in my life, everything that anyone could want. Looking back now, wonderful, but I didn't see it that way. And I don't think many addicts do. Many people that fall into addiction do see life that way. I always wanted to change the way I felt. I was never happy with anything I had. Always restless, irritable and discontent. Always wanting to hide from life, hide from emotions. Wanting to be accepted and be approved by other people. Wanting to fit in. Feeling lonely. And changing the way I felt to sort of fit in. Anyhow, many things like that. But so how do you go about changing all of that? It is a massive task. You sort of rebuild yourself. There's a lot of information on this channel, by the way, only 460 odd videos now over the past 6 years, where I've recorded everything that's worked and hasn't worked for me. Please subscribe, like and share them. It just means perhaps 1 or 2 more people will get some help from them, hopefully. So these 5 keys start with probably one of the most important, I suppose, and that's willingness. It's okay recognizing you've got a problem. I recognized I had a problem a long time ago with opiates and with alcohol. And then you've got to find willingness to change. It's as simple as that. You've got to really want it with every fiber of your being. It's no half-hearted attempt, because this is one of the hardest things that you'll ever do in your life. There's no question about that. I mean, I've been through some, outside of addiction, I've been through some tough times, and believe me, in my life, and I'm nearly 63 now, overcoming addiction has been the hardest, without doubt, but the best. It's also bringing me so many rewards. It's the best thing I've ever done with, in my life. It's as simple as that. I mean, I'm discounting obviously my wonderful daughters and getting married and all the rest of it. I mean, that goes sort of without saying, but for myself, I suppose, the best thing I've ever done in my life. Finding that willingness to change, be willing to give it absolutely everything, to work it yourself every moment that you can is essential, and realizing that you are powerless. I hate to use the word powerless because no one likes to think that they're powerless. But I am powerless against that first drink and drug. I know that. I know that because of the carnage it's wrought in my life, because I can't stop. I'm not like normal, well, I put normal people. I'm not like that. If I have a drink, an alcoholic drink or a drug, that's me, done. I'm away till there's nothing left to take. And then I want more and more and more. I'm obsessed. And that's wrought carnage and taken nearly everything from my life, from me. So, God damn right, I was willing to change at that point. You've got to be at the right point to do that. Obviously, everyone's different. Some people find that point in their 20s, that rock bottom. I've got a video on rock bottom on the channel. Have a look at it. What I believe it is. But it can happen for different people at different times. But finding that willingness, knowing that you're powerless, and wanting it with all your heart is essential. Number 2, self-love and self-care. You'll find that all addicts and alcoholics, self-esteem, self-love is in the gutter. It doesn't exist. And probably this is one of the hardest things as well to sort of turn around, if you like, and realize that it's okay to be you, and accepting yourself as you are, and that, not how others want you to be, or, is essential, or not even as you want to be, just as you are. You are unique, you are wonderful. There's no doubt about that. Oscar Wilde once said, be yourself, everyone else is taken. And that's really true. You know, you are a miracle. It's as simple as that. But it's not just as easy as that. Self-care and self-love starts with little things. So it's getting up in the morning and making your bed. And I know this sounds trite, but it's fact. All the things you weren't doing in addiction. So it's doing your teeth, having a shave, having a shower, looking at yourself in the mirror and having a smile at yourself, like, you know, realizing how blessed you are in your life, gratitude. And the self-care then moves on to what you put into your body. And what I mean by that, it's not just diet. Diet is essential, but it's also what you put in with news and what you're looking at on social media and all of that stuff that we're surrounded with these days. You just sometimes have to cut yourself off from that. And also people who are destructive in your life, people who damage your serenity or mess with your sobriety, then cut them out. You have to be ruthless. It's as simple as that, you know, and that's difficult. And look at my last video on loneliness and making new friends and how I went about that, because that will happen. It will all come back into your life. And then exercise is a massive part of my life, because not just because the feel good aspects of it and what it releases into your body, but just appreciating yourself and looking after yourself. That's self-love, that's self-care. And knowing when to rest and relax and chill out in front of Netflix and put your feet up is also really important. And eventually, I mean, I couldn't even look at my eyes in the mirror. But now, you know, I realise I'm not such a bad person. And you can raise your self-esteem by giving service to others as well, as I mentioned in the last video. By volunteering, you know, do something for other people, just being kind to people as well, you know, just all of that raises your self-esteem and self-love, if you like, if you want to call it that. So that, you know, to fix that inside, and I'm not talking about traumas and pain and stuff from your past, that's a separate issue. And that needs to be dealt with sometimes by a professional person, you know, if you can't deal with it. But sometimes, like, I mean, I had a very traumatic childhood, as is documented again on some of these videos, and I blame that for my addiction. But now I've let that go and realised that's just made me stronger, and it's allowed me to help other people through those experiences. And I've let it go and forgiven everyone involved, including myself. And that's difficult. Yeah, I'm not saying it isn't difficult. But the point is, until you do that, you know, there's no point in living in the past. You can't change it. That's just memories, you know, you can't change it. Just as the future is just imagination. It doesn't exist. So, you know, all these things have to be dealt with. That's all part of self-love and self-care. It's a big subject, but there's more on it in the channel. So that's that. Number 3 is community / help. So you've got to mix with sober people, you know, for lasting sobriety. In my experience, and I've not made any bones about the fact I am in AA and NA. The point is, that's not for everybody, and I understand that. You know, whatever floats your boat, whatever gets you sober, whatever works for you is absolutely 100% fine. You know, you've got to find out what works for you. In my experience, what I do, that community I have in the rooms, it is saved my life. So that was me, though, and I searched for many years. But there's a lot more you can do, such as online communities, online groups, sobriety groups, smart recovery. There's lots of groups like that. The thing is, you won't stay sober without some support and help. It just won't work, because you'll revert back to type. You'll isolate. You'll do all sorts of stuff you shouldn't be doing. It's not really even accountability. It's just soaking in sobriety, I call it. You know, when I mix with sober people, like-minded people, it's only like mixing with a group of people. If you're football fans, you mix with football. You're mixing with football fans. It doesn't but you're soaking in that knowledge, that learning, that support. It's essential to your sobriety. So you need to find a community, and you need to find help or ask for help, professional or otherwise, whether that's rehab, detox, doctor, psychiatrist, or support groups like I've just mentioned. In the day, number 4. And in the day is another one that, for me, being in the day, in the moment, was impossible. You know, I was either in the past, in regret, or in the future, in imagination. You know, there's a lot of these sayings that you find in recovery groups, like one day at a time. They're there for a reason, and the reason is they work. And the thing is, with sobriety, you only have a daily reprieve. It's as simple as that. You have to just get minute by minute sometimes at the beginning. But getting through a day is all you're concerned with, without putting a drink or a drug in your mouth. That's all you have to think about. You start thinking about the past, you start sitting in regret and anger and resentment and, you know, all these things that are brought up by the past. Useless. Or you're in your imagination in fear and worrying about things that will never happen, you know, and again, useless. You're also thinking, I've got to be sober for the rest of my life, you know, that's useless. All you think about is each day, one day at a time, one moment at a time, if that's what it takes. Essential. And finally, number 5 is self-awareness. And what I mean by that is, it's very quick and easy to revert back to old behaviours. I mean, I've got so much in my life that's come back into my life now. I'm blessed and I feel really lucky. But the price for that is vigilance, constant vigilance. And what I mean by that, it's very easy, without me noticing, for me to revert back to old behaviours. So I have to be constantly vigilant. At the end of the day, I do a little inventory on myself, lay in bed for 10 minutes and I think, could I have done that better? How did I react to that? How did I behave there? That way, if you're noticing your thoughts and your behaviours, you become very self-aware, you know, and that sort of, as you get stronger, you can deal with things as they appear in front of you, you know, but at the end of the day, when you do this sort of mini inventory, you know where you can do better next time, and you always can do better. It's progress, not perfection. Another saying, which is fact, progress, not perfection. See, the thing is with sobriety, you can't go back and make a new start, but you can start from now and make a brand new beginning. It's as simple as that. So do that, my friends, and see if those 5 things help you. Have a look at the channel. Much love to you all. Carpe Diem. Seize the day today. Stay strong. It's never too late. Never give up. Thank you. Bye-bye.